Good morning, everybody. November the 16th, Monday morning briefing video, episode 8 or 9. I can't remember. I'm going to probably continue to lose count, but they'll be in order and numbered on our YouTube channel. Moving a little slow this morning. We had 2 cow shows this weekend, one in Wharton and one in Victoria. And so we basically only showed my little girl's heifer this weekend. And so my boy's showing a steer, but we haven't shown him at the ones that are kind of further away just because we have to go 2 separate days, and his steer's not really competitive, but he loves him. So he hadn't been showing those. He'll show in the next one. We have one more in December, and he'll get to show there, and then we'll be done with that steer. We're going to try to get him a heifer set up. So, but yeah, it was good. It was a very good weekend. My little girl won a reserve grand champion with her heifer yesterday in Victoria, and she was super excited. So she did really well. She showed good. The heifer showed really well. She's starting to really fill out some now, and so it was really neat. The judge that placed her reserve seen her about a month and a half ago probably at another show and didn't place her there, and then this time he really liked her, so she must have changed enough. So we were really pleased with that. It's kind of neat to see my little girl. She's only 6 years old, and she's out there showing a big old heifer like that. And the heifer's really broke and does really good, but she can't get her tail feathers up and kind of get upset about things and just kind of walk off with her because she knows that she can get away with it with her. But all in all, she's good, and she showed really well. And so we were really happy about that. And my daughter was really excited about it. So it was a big weekend. We didn't get home too late last night. We got home about 6 or 7, and by the time we fed and did everything and did homework and all that stuff to get ready for school today, we slept in just a little bit this morning, and it's about 8 o'clock, 8:15 right now, and so a little later than I usually get here on Mondays to do this video. But all in all, it was a fantastic weekend. We had a lot of fun, and we're tired. And last week was really nuts in the shop. We got a lot done in here, but we had more people in last week than I've had, I bet, since I've been here. Just visitors, different people coming in. So we had a couple young ladies come from. They were on their way back from New Mexico. They had to go to New Mexico for a funeral, and they were headed back to Florida. And they stopped into the shop and got to see the shop, and so that was a really nice visit, and got to meet them. And they got to meet Huey. He's over there eating leather or doing something. He's already made himself completely at home in the shop, so they were excited to get to meet him. But we visited and talked a lot about leatherwork and kind of looked at some work that she had done and stuff, and it was really neat. And so you guys know who you are, and I really appreciate the visit. I'm glad you came by. If you're ever back in the area, sure, stop by and visit with us. But we also had just a lot of other customers in and people in. I had a buddy that does leatherwork that came and spent the day with us. He actually helped tear down one of the saddles. He just couldn't sit still, so he helped tear down one of the saddles. We've got to wash and stuff. And we hung out and had some lunch and just kind of visited some. And so it was a good week, but it was very busy and a lot of time on the phone and doing stuff. It's getting Christmas season. Odin Leather might have been right, because now last week was just insane. People calling and emailing and doing that. And I knew that was going to happen once we kind of got our minds off the election just a little bit, even though it's probably not completely off our minds yet. But people are starting to think about Christmas, so I hope yours are the same. I hope people are burning your phone up as well and wanting last minute gifts. And it's kind of intimidating because you want to take as many orders as you can, but we looked at our books last week, and we're pretty close to being closed on our books, or at least guaranteeing for Christmas. I want to just be open for everybody all the way till Christmas Day and help everybody out, but we have to be mindful of that and be honest with ourselves and know what I can get done, because we've also got saddles to build and videos to make. We've got a bunch of videos that I'm editing right now that are going to be really neat. We've got a bunch of things coming up that are going to be neat, so be sure and sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter. I tell you that on every video, but that's where I send out the first of new things. And so we've got some new things coming that are going to be really neat. And as we go forward through the next year, it'll be the same way. We kind of use the newsletter as our proofing station and kind of those people we know are highly interested in what we're doing, so we want to offer those people anything new first, and then we'll put it out. T-shirts, we do have our second run. I think they're all printed. Talked to the guy the other day. He's a good friend of my wife's, has a printing company and stuff, and I think he's got the next batch of the cow T-shirts ready to go. So once those are here, we'll put them up there. We'll let you know. I don't know exactly when he's going to ship those. I think he's completely done with them. We're also going to do another t-shirt. A lot of people have been asking, they just want a shirt with my maker stamp on it. So we're going to do some of those. I don't know what Claudia's coming up with. She's coming up with all those. Is Huey messing with that camera? Huey, get over here. Get over here, boy. Behave yourself. Puppy. He did really good at the show this weekend, by the way. He went with us. He's going to kind of go everywhere with us. Zip was a really good traveling dog. I could have taken him shopping at the grocery store. He was very, very obedient. He stayed right beside me. He wouldn't wander off. He didn't bark. He didn't mess with people. He was just like having your kid at the grocery store. Probably easier than having your kid at the grocery store. My kids are rambunctious and tear stuff up when we go there. So, but he was a good dog, and so I'm trying to get him that way. So he goes everywhere with me. He did really good at the cow show. He was on a leash the whole time because he's so little. We don't even let him around our calves, even as broke as they are, because I don't want him to get kicked. I mean, one kick to a little puppy like that and be all over. So we keep him out of the way of the horses and the cows. And at the show, he stayed close. He did good. He barked a little more than I liked, but he's a puppy. So there was a bunch of other people that had little mini Aussies and little puppy dogs and stuff, and so he wanted to play with them. But all in all, he did good, traveled well. And so now he's back in the shop in his happy place eating leather. But yes, a lot of people have asked about just doing that. So we are going to do that. We have a few different items that we're going to put just our maker stamp on, something simple like we did on caps. That's cool. So Claudia's working on that. I don't know what all colors and sizes and all that, but once she gets with him and gets those printed, I think he's working on those now too. So we'll put all those up. We're just trying to put out stuff, like I said, to where if you want something from us to kind of represent DG Leathercraft or DG Saddlery, we've got that available. And so Claudia's having fun with that type of stuff, and we've got a bunch of ideas for different types of products and merchandise and stuff. But my main focus, her focus is going to be on that, because I don't really have the time to work on the t-shirts and the colors and the sizes, and I'm a dude. I just wear whatever's hanging in the closet at that moment. She's better at that. But when it comes down to the Leathercraft, I'm putting together products for you. So we've got, like I said, the checkbook cover project will be out today or tomorrow. We'll have that probably tomorrow because I got to do this video, but it's done. Everything's ready to go. And so we'll get that posted. I meant to do that last week. I told y'all I would. That's why I don't ever say I'm setting this as a goal, because then it usually means it doesn't happen. But the week just got away. But we've got it done at least, and so we'll have that posted up in the next day or so, and then you'll be able to do that. The checkbook cover deal, we actually took some orders for checkbook covers for Christmas too. They're just great little items, so that'll be a great project. I've got a couple other project videos that I want to get out before Christmas season. Actually, I'd like to have them done before Thanksgiving so that you have plenty of time to at least offer those if you'd like, or make a few for gifts or something like that. So let's talk about the podcast. Last week we did have a podcast. I interviewed a craftsman, and we did a great interview, and I'm really excited about it. It was really good. She did a really good job on the podcast, and I think you're going to like it, but it's going to post hopefully tomorrow, if not today. I've got to finish editing that. I just ran out of time last week and didn't get it edited, among other things that we were doing. But that will post, and so we skipped 1 week. I kind of felt bad about that. We didn't have one, but we haven't slowed down. Like I said, I've got that one, and I've got a couple more that we're going to do. I'm probably going to do 2 this week, and 2 interviews, and then that way I'm kind of maybe a week ahead of myself. So if I do have a week like last week and can't get one edited, at least I'll be ahead of myself, and I can just post that. It gives me a little bit of a buffer. But last week's episode was cool. I think it's going to be really interesting, and I think you'll enjoy it. So that one will post. I'm not going to tell you who it is till it posts, but let me get some coffee. Let's run through this. I've got to get to the editing and doing stuff and get back on some saddles. I've got one we're fixing to finish. I'll show you that. I had some more repair come in, and we finished the saddle last week too. As you saw, was pretty close to being done anyway. So I'm going to get some coffee, and we'll do that. All right, so here's our ranch saddle. We got the binder on Friday. I actually did this Friday. I had it ready to go Thursday, and then just kind of the day kind of went the way it went, and I wasn't able to get it on, but I got it on Friday, so it was able to dry all weekend. Just a little tip, if you've never sewn a candle binder before, I put my binders on, and obviously the leather's wet when you put them on to get it tucked under and formed around and smoothed out and everything, and then I let that dry completely, at least a day. It doesn't matter time-wise as long as it's dry, so depending on your climate, it might be half a day, whatever. You can put a fan on it if you want. But I want them super dry, because as I push that all through here when I'm sewing this, I don't want it pushing the piece underneath. I don't want it pushing away, and if it's wet, it'll push it out some, and it makes it to where you sew it slower just because you're fighting that underside. No matter how well you glue it, it's going to try to push out because that leather's really wet. I just wait and let them dry completely, and then they sew up way easier, and you don't booger up your edge right here. Your stitches will look nice and tight and clean, and you can groove that nicely and all that. So we'll sew that binder, and this saddle will be just about done. I've got a box down here with the fenders and the billets and flank girt and back housings. Well, the housings are actually over here on this other tree, but this saddle will start getting some oil later today. We'll start oiling everything up and start getting some good color on it. I'm probably going to go pretty heavy on this. I oil with olive oil, as most of y'all know. You can use whatever you want, neatsfoot, whatever. I switched to olive oil. Some people have asked why. I thought I talked about it, but I switched to olive oil because the neatsfoot oil that I've used, which I've been using olive oil for probably 10 years, but back then the neatsfoot oil I was using on new stuff, I was getting a kind of a miscoloring. It was hard to get it all even. I don't know if it's just not as clean as it used to be or what, but I was getting a blotchy kind of look, and I was fighting that all the time, and somebody suggested just using olive oil because it's cleaner and it goes on easier, and I switched and never looked back. So I don't really like the neatsfoot oil that I've used, and it may have just been the brand, I'm not sure, but I'm happy with olive oil. And I actually found it it's sold by the pound on Amazon. They have a big jug of it, because I used to get it from a restaurant supply company in Bryan, but now I'm in Moulton, and there is no restaurant supply here. I could probably get Cisco or somebody to drop a case of olive oil off. I may look into that, but this last time I was running out, got on Amazon, and I found they call it a 33-pound jug, but it's a really junky jug, like a big plastic jug, but it's, I mean, that jug looks like if you dropped it, it would break and spill oil everywhere, but it's the same Corello oil I was using, the Palmas oil. Sometimes you'll see it listed as Palmas oil. Same thing. It's just, that's what I use. And I found that, and so we're going to use that for now, but I might find somebody that's got the tin cans, the gallon jugs that I was buying there in Bryan, or just make a trip to Bryan every so often and go up there and pick it up. But this saddle, this housing goes with this one. But this saddle here is one I'm building for a good friend of mine. He's on the list and he came up, so we're going to work on him. I've got another one that we're building for a guy out of Tucson, Arizona. We're going to get that one camped out and get that one done probably the next two or 3 weeks, hopefully. But this saddle here is going to be a ranch saddle very similar to the one that I'm wrapping up here to your left. And we got the swell cover ready to glue on today. I'm going to do some buck stitching on it. And I'm going to do a few little things just here. I've got a little artistic freedom on this because it's for a friend of mine, so I'm going to have a little fun with it and do a little bit of finger carving and stuff like that on there. Just some kind of splash and dash just to give it a little bit different look. And I may add some carving onto this saddle too, just for fun. But those are the ones we're working on right now. And then we got some repairs in. This saddle here is from a friend of mine down in South Texas, and it's just an old roping saddle he had, kind of ranch roper kind of thing. We're going to wash it, new stirrup leathers, do that. And we just picked up this ranch saddle. This is one that I built, I can't remember, it's probably been 6-7 years ago, but we built this saddle, and it's just a ranch saddle for a cowboy up there in Bryan, and we're going to wash it, clean it, check everything out. New stirrup leathers. He's got one broke on this side. His plier holder is in this repair here, and we're going to fix a bunch of stuff, maybe put some new strings on it. We'll see how they kind of clean up, but it's just it's a work saddle. He needs it back as quickly as possible, so we're going to get on that and get it washed probably this week and try to get it wrapped up so we can get it back to him. We try to get all our repairs, if we can, for cowboys and stuff. They're making their living out of these saddles. We try to get them back as quickly as possible. A lot easier back when I had Freddie. A little bit tougher now because it's just me and Claudia. So it's hard for me to take time on repairs sometimes, but we're trying to get on a little system where at least they don't fall to the wayside. We've only been here 4 or 5 months, so we'll get a good system going on that. And this is the saddle that we finished last week. This is one of our standard ropers. It's a 14.5-inch solid rough out. It is sold. It'll go this week to up there to Bryan to be picked up by the customer that ordered it. We build this man about 2 or 3 saddles a year, and he does sell a few of his older ones as he goes along. He just likes new saddles, likes trying new things. But this is a very common saddle that I've built for him before. This one is on a hog tree, so Billy Hog Saddle Shop built the tree that's in this saddle. 3.5-inch tall cantle, 7 1/4 tall gullet height, 6.5 gullet width. and a 14.5-inch seat. This is kind of what we would call our standard roping saddle. If I was to build 4 or 5 of these, we could sell them fairly easily, just because that's kind of what we're known to build a roping saddle like that. And so they have a pretty good demand for them. So I wish I had about 4 or 5 of these sitting around the shop, but we got it done. It went together well. I'm really happy with it. And so he's going to take it and put it into the mix with the other ones that he has of ours and get to riding that. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today on the Monday morning briefing. I know it's a little short, it's quick, but we've got a lot of other stuff we've got to get launched for y'all this week. So like I said, be sure if you haven't subscribed yet, Huey, be sure if you haven't subscribed yet to the Leathercraft newsletter, please go and do that. Like I said, we'll be sending our newsletter for November. It'll be going out today, tomorrow, somewhere around there. And we're gonna there's gonna be some neat stuff in there that we're working on that you might be interested in if you are working with Leathercraft and wanting to get better and stuff like that. Obviously, on our website, there's a lot of free information, a lot of blog articles. There's a lot of the videos that are on our YouTube channel are embedded there or posted as a blog post on our website, and so you can certainly watch them from there. Not all the videos on our YouTube channel are on our website. So like these Monday morning briefing videos, I don't carry those over. I think maybe the first or second one we did put those on the website, but now we don't really make a blog post for those. We probably should, and we may, but right now that's all we've got on there. So if you like this video or other leather working videos, be sure and subscribe to the channel too while you're here, and that way you'll get an update for all our videos. Like I said, we do have a lot of project videos and stuff like that. But we're going to get to it today. Thanksgiving is next week. Usually after Thanksgiving, it's Christmas time. Like it's Christmas after Thanksgiving, it seems like Christmas takes a week and it's already there. So don't let that catch up on you. You've got a full week. We've got this week plus part of next week. And then of course, I don't know if you travel for Thanksgiving. I used to travel. I could just count Thanksgiving weekend, Wednesday to Sunday, I was going to be out of the shop because we had to travel to go see family and stuff. Now I'm here. We're not going to travel. We will be here. So I'm planning on working all the way through Wednesday and then take off Thursday for Thanksgiving, and then I'll probably work Friday, Saturday, Sunday in some capacity, at least some in the shop. So don't let this last 2 weeks of November, don't let that get away from you. And then we're in December. December is going to run super fast. It's going to click along, and December seems like a week long because once you get in there, you got to do your own Christmas shopping plus your orders and stuff. So if you are doing this and you are in the Christmas season, you're already starting to stress, don't stress yet. You got 2 weeks left in November. We're not even to December, so don't rush it. You got a full week this week and a weekend. Hopefully you can put some time into the shop. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to get to work. Got a lot of stuff to do. We'll see you in the next video.